I grew up in a very small village in the southern part of Israel. My family, the root of our family, immigrate from France and Morocco to Israel. My parents met in Israel, and they both didn't born in Israel. My father actually born in France, and my mother born in Morocco. And the family decided to immigrate because of their faith, their Judaism, and after Israel established in 1948. So my grandparents considered to move um, to Israel, and they immigrated to Israel. And the age that my parents around was 15. They met each other because they both live in the same village. And around the age of 20, I think they decided to get married. And after that, we came. We are a big family. I have 5 siblings, 4 sisters and 1 brother. And so it was. I think it was beautiful to raise and grow in this kind of small village. It gave you the atmosphere that you know the whole community, that you know everyone, your neighbors, your friends. You pass these processes together, like to go to the kindergarten with the same children, and then to go to school with the same children, and then to high school. And in Israel, there is a duty that you have to go to the army when the age of 18. It's a duty for every woman and a man. So around age of 17, you have to decide what you want to do in your career in the military. You have some choices that you can choose, but mainly it's the decision it's made by the army itself. So you have the option to choose, but it's up to whatever the army needs. So back in my times, most of the women was serving in more of administrative work jobs. Today you can see a huge shift, and a lot of women doing a lot of important job like a pilot and fighters and whatever the army need, and there isn't any gender point of view like it used to be in the past. So I think it's a part of the global world changing, and this is the spirit now even in the army. My parents and my grandparents immigrated to Israel because our Judaism. Um, and today it's the world are more open for different faith or different ways that people choose, but in the past it wasn't like that. And the Judaism in general, it's a minority around the world, and they suffer from some anti-Semitism and some all kind of violence act in the past. So because they want to keep their faith and because it was important to them, so to move to Israel, it was the natural things to do. Because when you move to a country that's most of the population is keeping the same faith, the Judaism, so you feel more comfortable to keep your faith, and you have everything that you need to keep your faith. You have the synagogue, you have the routine, like when there is a Jewish holiday, so the country is stopping for that. And here, when you live in Canada and you have a Jewish holiday, so no one is aware to that, just you and the people that keep in the same faith. So it's different. it's much more harder to keep your faith in a place like that, because if you want to go in this way, so you have to acknowledge that you need to invest some effort of keeping your faith, and for me it's important, and I was raised in a traditional way, and you can, there is differences between the custom and the holiday, and by being strict with faith, so I'm not very strict, but for me it's very important to stay with the custom and the traditional way of life, so we still, and we will celebrate the holiday, the Judaism holiday, and just next week we have a holiday, the weekend that comes. It's called Shavuot, and it's a very important holiday. We are celebrating the Torah, and we will celebrate here in Canada as well. Lucky for us, there is a Jewish community also here in Fredericton, and there is a synagogue, and we can be a part of the community as well. And I found it very helping to keep your faith when you have this kind of small community, even though the majority is different. Last month we had the Holocaust Memorial Day, and I was surprised that I was invited by the church for a ceremony for the Holocaust Day, and it was impressive to see people that keep in their different faiths, like it could be Christian and it could be Muslim and Jewish, all together standing and remembering those days, those horrible days in the past of the Judaism, and also for other cultures as well. It's not just Jewish that was in the Holocaust. There was a lot of other communities that was extended. Also the LGBTQ community and a lot of other communities that the German want to distinguish. So it was impressive to see this kind of a ceremony that held in the church. The choir of the church sang in Hebrew, some Hebrew song. It was impressive because it's hard to speak Hebrew when your native tongue is not it's English. Like, it's very different. For me, it was an impressive event to take part, because when you come into this kind of a small community, you don't expect to have this kind of events. And the beautiful things about that you see that everyone is united. It doesn't matter what is your background or what is your faith. It's just for the same goal that you want to have peace in the world, and you don't want to have this kind of violence taking place in the future, and you just want to promote the idea of be united for the sake of the humankind. And that was beautiful. When it's a duty to do to serve 2 years of the community. You can do that through the army stream, or you can do that as a volunteering in the community works. I choose the path of the community work. I worked with children, that has disabilities, and in the education system of it's between the kindergarten and the school age. Those children doesn't have the same path as other children has, because they has a different curriculum, and they have a different education. So I choose to work with disabilities, with children with disabilities. It was amazing experience. That's something that you can't even tell by words. It's you have to experience that, because in the start I was having kind of a doubt if should I go to this kind of field. It, maybe it will be too emotional, and I wasn't so sure, but eventually that's what I choose, and I found it more rewarding for me than for the children, because you can see their love, you can see their affection, you can actually feel huge satisfaction with what you are doing. And it's something that you can see day to day, like when you're helping a child with disabilities, and you see that the next day he's starting to do something that he didn't do the day before. That's something that you can't express with words. It was a great experience for me, and I think it's also impacted my career path after that, and the choices that I made in my life as well. After my active service, I went to the university first to have my education. I finished my bachelor degree in management and system information, and I went to work for the public sector. I started my career in the youth branch in the municipality of Beersheba. It's a big city in the south part of Israel, and I started my career there as a project manager. I mainly was in charge for the leadership program, and I develop and execute the leadership programs through the city. We had a lot of children, a lot of teenagers that took part in this program, around 1,000 teenagers, all kind of variety of leadership style program. So it's leadership program not just by learning how to lead. It's also to take part in the community activities and all kind of leading projects for the community. It's more like leading by actions. Is to do things for the community and to be the leader of these kind of actions. So you are learning through the process as well. I choose to work with youth in the start of my career, from the same reason. Like I thought this kind of you see teenager, they are disoriented, like in the time of they are 12 to 16, 18. They are not so focused about what they want to do. They jump in from one things to another, and this is a crucial time for them to think about themselves, to think about the career that they want to have, to think about the future, the core values, how to develop themselves. And I found that fascinating to work with teenagers and to help them and to guide them through their growth. So it was very interesting. What brought me to Canada was several things. It wasn't just one, it was a long process of decision, because I'm very attached and my roots are still in Israel. It's my homeland, and I was born and raised there. And I really believe in the country and what it has to offer to the people that come to live in Israel. But unfortunately, I used to live in the south part of Israel, and we suffered from insecure situations that we are living very close to the border with Gaza Strip, and we have a lot of operation and bombs, and the security situation is not so good. And when you're becoming an adult and a parent, and you think about your children and the place that you want them to grow, and you don't want them to feel fear or that they are under attack or that they feel or that they lives in a constant war. And unfortunately, that's the situation in Israel. It's not like when you are walking around the street you feel fear. No, that's not a feeling at all. You feel safe and secure when you live, and your daily life, it's great. But once in a while, there is several days that there is an operations going on in the borders, and you get missiles, and you have to stay in the safety room for several days. And for children, that's a very traumatic experience. My daughter, she can't hear the sound of the alarm. When she starts to hear the sound of the alarm, she's starting to cry, she's getting panic. And, even as a parent, when you try to calm her down and you try to explain that we are safe because we have the safe room and it's okay, and even if a missile will hit us, we're still going to be fine. But from a perspective of a 9-year-old girl, it's look different. When you hear the bombs, when you hear the siren, you are afraid. So I think that was the main reason that lead us to move from Israel to Canada. The future of our children, it's the main thing. And when you want to raise your children with a good environment and a place that they could feel safe and free to do whatever they want and to choose their future path. So unfortunately, Israel, it has to do a lot of. It's a process, and a peace process. It can be one day. It's a long process, and I don't know if it will happen in the nearest future or not. And when you think about your family and your small, core at home, so you need to take some decision, and some decisions are hard to take. And even if it's hard, you need to do that. For now, we just moved 4 months ago, so I can't say like where I'm going to be in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years from today even. But it's something that we are trying, and we will see. Time will tell. First, it's a cultural differences. The culture in Canada and in Israel, it's quite different. Um, all kind of processes and procedures and all kind of things that you are managing day to day are different. So you have to adjust to that as well, to adjust to the culture, to the people, to the environment. And Fredericton, first we choose it because it's a small province, and we didn't want to go for a huge province in the start. Like first to settle down in Canada, to understand the culture, to understand the way of life. And I think it's, and when we read about New Brunswick and the people that are very friendly and everyone are so, we had a warm welcome here. No matter where you go, even if you just look like you're lost, someone is jumping on you like, can I help you? Can I give you a hand? Are you okay? Do you need anything? And it's make the process easier. And it's helped a lot when you're just here and you don't know anyone, and you feel like a stranger. you don't feel like you fit in, because it's taking time, like, to feel that you fit in, to know everything. In the start, you don't know anything. Even when you go to a grocery shop, you don't familiar with the products. You don't familiar with the simple things that you need to do. When our daughter first went to school, so the school system, the education system is different. The scheduled school day is different in Israel. So you have to adjust to a lot of things, and I think that's the first stage. First to adjust, then to understand the culture, in the future to be a part. Also, you need to find a job, and it's not so easy. Around here, like, there isn't a lot of jobs that has been offered for the public, but you have to work your way through a network and to know people, because it's a very small and friendly family atmosphere. So it's quite traditional. And I think that's our next barrier, to find a job here and to be as part of the society and to contribute to the community as well. I think it's a huge turning point. Like, you are in the age after you pass. For me, I left a job after 16 years of career, and I left my family, uh, my friends, and came here to start over again. And you're going back to the days when you're, just start your career and building yourself. So you have to do that all over again. And so it's a very crucial point in my life. Like, I don't know what will be the outcome of it eventually, but it's a very important time, and we are optimistic. So we see things bright, and in future we are we want it to look like, they're gonna be it's gonna be a better future, and that we will look back and say we made a good decision. I had several turning points in my life. The first one was when I moved from the village that I grew up to the big city. It was a big change. Like, back there, back then, you wasn't exposed to media and social media and TV. It was rare. Like, most of your time you spend with friends outside, playing in playgrounds and things like that, and not through TV, or we didn't have any phone or apps and things like that. So when I moved to the city was, it's a big city, and I was exposed to a lot of new services in the city. So it was the first big changing point, and for me it was like the little girl from the country that's moving to a huge city. It was frightening in the start, but eventually I adjusted to the city, and I decided to stay and to live in the city, because I felt that I could contribute more when I'm working with a massive community. And the community that I came from was very small compared to the city. And if you want to impact, or engage people with your ideas or your aims, so it's better to do that in a place when you can actually touch a lot of people. So that was the first turning point. Although I think through my career I had several turning points, but the one that was the meaningful one was my work with Germany. Um, in the huge branch that I used to work, we had a connection with Germany, a special district in Germany that called Rosenheim, and we had exchange delegations with youth from Germany to Beersheba in Israel. Each year we had around 15, 10 members that took part of the age between 16 to 18 that participate in this unique program. And we have the same amount of teenagers that took part also from the German side. There wasn't they are not Jewish, they are Christian, and for the same reason that I spoke about our common history, they choose to develop this connection with Israel and to educate teenagers from both sides that today Germany and Israel are working as an ally, and that we have the chance to think differently about Germany, and also for the German student that they'll have the chance to visit Israel and to see the country and to feel the atmosphere and to be kind of a person that can speak about this event and can give his personal experience in Germany around friends and family. And for me, the first time that I visit Germany was a very emotional time, because after years that you are, it's a part of the curriculum, the Israeli curriculum, that you study about the Holocaust and the history of the Jewish people around the world. And so it's something that you carry with you since you are a child. And Germany for me was always a horrible place. Like when you say Germany, the first thing that I'm thinking it's like that come out of my mind was the Holocaust and the suffer and the horrible things that happened to the Jewish people around there. So I never thought that I will visit Germany. And when I work in the municipality of Beersheba and I came across with this program and with a relationship with Germany, so when I first fly to Germany, it was to renew the relationship between the cities because of the security situation. The delegation stopped, and my mission was to travel to Germany and to speak with the leader over there and trying to think together how to renew these exchanges again. So I had two major things that I had to to overcome. First, to go to Germany, and the second also to engage them back to the process. And it was a huge mission, and thanks to my friends that joined me from the municipality, we did it and we succeed, and we engaged back the relationship, and we started to do the delegation again. And the first year that I went and traveled with the youth group, was the meaningful that I had. It was a unique experience. To go back to the same places that are, the Jewish root was there, and to stand there and to be as a united group with the German student and the Israeli student, and to do a ceremony in a concentration camp and to stand there proudly and to say, we are alive, we are maintaining our faith, and we are maintaining the tradition, the Jewish traditional. It's something that you can't say it in one word or even a sentence. It's an incredible feeling. It's something that that those people that died there, you are continue the same legacy, and you continue you live because of them, and the fact that you are standing alive there today is because they died. And I think the one thing that we try to works with the youth, that to say that their death wasn't for nothing, that today Israel is established and live and a very developed country, and because of those event in the past, we have the luxury to stand here today and to live our life safe and sound. Like, what I think the important things is, for now, for me, what I'm thinking about Germany, the instant things that come up in my mind, it's not the Holocaust. It's the friends that I have there, that I already call them family. My co-worker from Germany, she is an amazing woman, and she's like my sister today. So we always said, I have sisters here in Israel and I have sisters in Germany. And our connection through the years, I did it for 16 years, was it's impact me for the rest of my life. So now when I'm thinking about Germany, I'm thinking about good things. Like, I'm thinking about family that I have there. I think about great friendship that we have, both cities, from Rosenheim and Beersheba. And I think that's something that I always carry with me, to see the youth traveling to Germany and traveling back to Israel. And you can see that they way of thinking, and they change their mind. Like, if in the past Germany was a horrible place, now they think about that as a place to grow. They have friends now, and they see that the German people are different, and they really acknowledge the things that happened in the past and want to build better future between the countries. Oh, I'm fortunate to have a lot of happy moments in my life, and I hope to have a lot more in the future as well. But I can say that the one meaningful one was when my daughter, when I get birth of my daughter, the shift between being an independent grown up to being a parent, that's a huge shift. It's like everything's changed in one moment in your life. And I can't think about any event in my past life like that I could say that changed my life from 1 second to another. And it was an instant. And when I became a parent, it was the happiest day of my life. And my daughter just celebrated 9. She turned 9 last week. So, and she said to me like, "Mommy, why are you so excited when I'm having a birthday? It's not your birthday." And it's the way children see the things. And I was like, but when we celebrate in your birthday, that's the day that I became a parent, and I'm celebrating as well. Like your birthday, it's my huge celebration. And in the start, she didn't understood that, but when we spoke about it for a while, she finally realized that this is a major day for me as well as for her. Like so, every year, and I hope it will be in many years that I will celebrate the same day. And we had a great celebration. What do I know for sure? That's a very tricky question because after my I'm 42, so I remember myself since I was around 3. So many years, I could say that I don't know nothing for sure. It's uh, things can change quickly, circumstances and events in through your life changing things. So I know my past for sure, but I don't know what's gonna be in the future, and that's something. And even now this present, we don't know what it will come and what we will have in the future. So, but I know one thing's for sure, that I will keep my optimistic way of my optimistic way of living this life, and hopefully it will be a great journey. And when I will become 120, I will take a look back on my life and said, I did it all.